Low-carb diet for weight loss. Could a low-carb diet give you an edge in losing weight? Help you keep weight off permanently? Here's what you need to know about the low-carb diet. Definition. A low-carb diet limits carbohydrates, such as those found in grains, starchy vegetables and fruit, and emphasizes foods high in protein and fat. Many types of low-carb diets exist. Each diet has varying restrictions on the types and amounts of carbohydrates you can eat. Purpose. A low-carb diet is generally used for losing weight. Some low-carb diets may have health benefits beyond weight loss, such as reducing risk factors associated with type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome. Why you might follow a low-carb diet. You might choose to follow a low-carb diet because you want a diet that restricts certain carbs to help you lose weight. Want to change your overall eating habits. Enjoy the types and amounts of foods featured in low-carb diets. Check with your doctor before starting any weight loss diet, especially if you have any health conditions, such as diabetes or heart disease. Diet details. As the name says, a low-carb diet restricts the type and amount of carbohydrates you eat. Carbohydrates are a type of calorie-providing macronutrient found in many foods and beverages. Carbohydrates can be simple or complex. They can further be classified as simple refined table sugar, simple natural, lactose in milk and fructose in fruit, complex refined, white flour, and complex natural, whole grains or beans. Common sources of naturally occurring carbohydrates include grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, nuts, seeds, legumes, beans, lentils, peas. Food manufacturers also add refined carbohydrates to processed foods in the form of sugar or white flour. Examples of foods that contain refined carbohydrates are white breads and pasta, cookies, cake, candy, and sugar-sweetened sodas and drinks. Your body uses carbohydrates as its main fuel source. Complex carbohydrates, starches, are broken down into simple sugars during digestion. They're then absorbed into your bloodstream, where they're known as blood sugar, glucose. In general, natural complex carbohydrates are digested more slowly and they have less effect on blood sugar. Natural complex carbohydrates provide bulk and serve other body functions beyond fuel. Rising levels of blood sugar trigger the body to release insulin. Insulin helps glucose enter your body's cells. Some glucose is used by your body for energy, fueling all of your activities. Whether it's going for a jog or simply breathing, extra glucose is usually stored in your liver, muscles and other cells for later use or is converted to fat. The idea behind the low-carb diet is that decreasing carbs lowers insulin levels, which causes the body to burn stored fat for energy and ultimately leads to weight loss. Typical foods for a low-carb diet. In general, a low-carb diet focuses on proteins, including meat, poultry, fish and eggs, and some non-starchy vegetables. A low-carb diet generally excludes or limits most grains, legumes, fruits, breads, sweets, pastas and starchy vegetables, and sometimes nuts and seeds. Some low-carb diet plans allow small amounts of certain fruits, vegetables and whole grains. A daily limit of 0.7 to 2 ounces, 20 to 60 grams, of carbohydrates is typical with a low-carb diet. These amounts of carbohydrates provide 80 to 240 calories. Some low-carb diets greatly restrict carbs during the initial phase of the diet and then gradually increase the number of allowed carbs. In contrast, the Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends that carbohydrates make up 45 to 65% of your total daily calorie intake. So if you consume 2,000 calories a day, you would need to eat between 900 and 1,300 calories a day from carbohydrates. Results: weight loss. Most people can lose weight if they restrict the number of calories consumed and increase physical activity levels. To lose 1 to 1.5 pounds (0.5 to 0.7 kilogram) a week, you need to reduce your daily calories by 500 to 750 calories. Low-carb diets, especially very low-carb diets, may lead to greater short-term weight loss than do low-fat diets. But most studies have found that at 12 or 24 months, the benefits of a low-carb diet are not very large. A 2015 review found that higher protein, low-carbohydrate diets may offer a slight advantage in terms of weight loss and loss of fat mass compared with a normal protein diet. Cutting calories and carbs may not be the only reason for the weight loss. Some studies show that you may shed some weight because the extra protein and fat keeps you feeling full longer, which helps you eat less. Other health benefits: low-carb diets may help prevent or improve serious health conditions, such as metabolic syndrome, diabetes, high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. In fact, almost any diet that helps you shed excess weight can reduce or even reverse risk factors for cardiovascular disease and diabetes. Most weight loss diets, not just low-carb diets, may improve blood cholesterol or blood sugar levels, at least temporarily. Low-carb diets may improve high-density lipoprotein (HDL), cholesterol and triglyceride values slightly more than do moderate carb diets. That may be due not only to how many carbs you eat but also to the quality of your other food choices. Lean protein, fish, poultry, legumes. Healthy fats, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated, and unprocessed carbs, such as whole grains, legumes, vegetables, fruits and low-fat dairy products, are generally healthier choices. A report from the American Heart Association, the American College of Cardiology and the Obesity Society concluded that there isn't enough evidence to say whether most low-carbohydrate diets provide heart-healthy benefits. Risks: if you suddenly and drastically cut carbs, you may experience a variety of temporary health effects, including headache, bad breath, weakness, muscle cramps, fatigue, skin rash, constipation or diarrhea. In addition, some diets restrict carbohydrate intake so much that in the long term they can result in vitamin or mineral deficiencies, bone loss and gastrointestinal disturbances, and may increase risks of various chronic diseases. Because low-carb diets may not provide necessary nutrients, these diets aren't recommended as a method of weight loss for preteens and high schoolers. The growing bodies need the nutrients found in whole grains, fruits and vegetables. Severely restricting carbohydrates to less than 0.7 ounces 20 grams a day can result in a process called ketosis. Ketosis occurs when you don't have enough sugar, glucose, for energy. So your body breaks down stored fat, causing ketones to build up in your body. Side effects from ketosis can include nausea, headache, mental and physical fatigue, and bad breath. It's not clear what kind of possible long-term health risks a low-carb diet may pose because most research studies have lasted less than a year. Some health experts believe that if you eat large amounts of fat and protein from animal sources, your risk of heart disease or certain cancers may actually increase. If you follow a low-carbohydrate diet that's higher in fat and possibly higher in protein, it's important to choose foods with healthy unsaturated fats and healthy proteins. Limit foods containing saturated and trans fats, such as meat, high-fat dairy products, and processed crackers and pastries. If you can, try to check other important health markers when starting out, like these: blood pressure, blood sugar, fasting blood glucose and/or HbA1c, cholesterol profile, including HDL, triglycerides, how to keep the weight off long term. Losing a lot of weight long term and keeping it off will likely not happen unless you change your habits forever. If you lose weight and then return to living exactly the way you did when you gained weight, don't be surprised when the excess weight returns. It normally will. Maintaining weight loss usually requires long-term change and patience. As tempting as it may be, don't fall for one of these magical diet scams. Forget quick fixes. If you lose some weight every month, eventually you may get rid of all your excess weight. That's inevitable progress. That's what you want. P.S. Long-term change is hardest in the beginning, especially during the first couple of weeks. It's like quitting smoking. Once you develop new habits, it becomes easier and easier every week. Eventually it may come naturally. Avoid eating fruit. This piece of advice is controversial as fruit has an almost magical health aura today. People may believe that fruit is nutritious, but unfortunately fruit contains a lot of sugar, around 10% by weight. The rest is mostly water. Just taste an orange or a grape. Sweet, right? 5 servings of fruit per day are equivalent to the amount of sugar in 16 ounces of soda, 500 milliliters, 0.33, contrary to what many people believe. The natural sugar in fruit is more or less identical to the sugar in soda and other sweet beverages, about 50% glucose, 50% fructose. Sugar from fruit can shut down fat burning. Eating a lot of fruit can increase your hunger and slow your weight loss. 0.34 For best results, you may want to avoid fruit, or enjoy it occasionally as a treat. Avoid drinking beer. Beer contains rapidly digested carbs that shut down fat burning. That may be why beer is sometimes referred to as liquid bread. There's a good reason for the term beer belly. Here are smarter, lower-carb, alcoholic options for losing weight: wine, red or dry white, dry champagne, hard liquor like whiskey, cognac, vodka. Avoid sweetened cocktails. Try vodka, soda water, lime instead. These drinks hardly contain any sugar, carbohydrates, so they're better than beer. However, large amounts of alcohol might slow weight loss somewhat, so moderation is still a good idea. Avoid artificial sweeteners. Many people replace sugar with artificial sweeteners in the belief that this will reduce their calorie intake and cause weight loss. It sounds plausible. Several studies, however, have failed to show obvious positive effect on weight loss by consuming artificial sweeteners instead of plain sugar. According to scientific studies, artificial sweeteners may increase appetite and maintain cravings for sweet food. 0.37 And one recent independent study showed that switching drinks with artificial sweeteners to water helped women lose weight, stress less, sleep more. Sleep deprivation, on the other hand, goes hand in hand with sugar cravings. 0.51 It also has an adverse effect on self-discipline and makes it painfully easy to give in to temptation. It's no coincidence that induced sleep deprivation is a common interrogation technique. Similarly, sleep deprivation weakens your resolve to work out. Sleep issues. Do you have trouble sleeping even if there's ample time for it? Here are 5 tips from an expert. Stick to the same bedtime every evening. In the long run, this will help your body prepare for sleep at that time. No coffee after 2 p.m. Just don't. And remember that it takes time for caffeine to leave your body. Limit your alcohol intake to 3 hours before bedtime. While booze might make you woozy, it worsens quality of sleep. Limit exercise in the 4 hours before bedtime. Physical activity can make you wound up and make it difficult to go to sleep for several hours afterwards. Get 15 minutes of sunlight every day. This is good for your circadian rhythm, your body clock. Finally, make sure that your bedroom is dark enough, and stays at a pleasant temperature. Sleep well. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to our channel at Smart Info.